Hey guys, I have something extremely fancy for you today. If you're to take a look at me, I'm not wearing any armor at all, but this button over here can fix that. If I were to push that, I'll drop down a couple of blocks, things will happen, and then when I'm pushed back up, I'm now wearing chain armor. Now I've done a couple of armor equippers in the past, one on Christmas, and then most recently I did a torch activated budded one a month ago. And yeah, those are pretty cool, but not as fancy as this. Now, the concept for this was created by a good pal of mine, Engine, and the fellow Crimson Stoner. Now, what this is as you just saw, it's an armor equipper, but it does have a lit lamp and a piece of glass where a solid block would usually be on any other armor equipper. Now, I'm going to jump straight into the tutorial because I'm really excited about this creation, and I've screwed up this intro way too many times already. So, see you there in a sec. Now, this design does have a couple down flaws, one of which is that it has this really stupid pulse extender on the side, and the reason for that is everything happening here is too strong even for, or not too strong, but too long, even for a wooden button to handle, and that's why we need this. Now, that actually brings me to two challenges I have for you today, one of which is obviously to make this smaller, and then the other one is to make a design that does not require an external pulse extender, and that would be really nice because besides that, this design is really awesome, and I'm really happy with how well it turned out. Now, to start things off, I'm going to need to grab myself a piece of stained glass and a lamp. So there's our lamp, and obviously this stained glass is flush with the floor, and then what we're going to want to have facing into the lamp are our dispensers, and these will hold our armor later, but for now just leave them empty, otherwise it'll cause a huge mess that you'll have to clean up later anyways, so just leave them empty. But yeah, our final dispenser goes here, and then we could get started on our piston layout. So you're going to want to have four blocks going like that, and then a sticky piston there and a sticky piston there. We can break those for now, and then on this side you're going to want to have a normal piston pushing a sticky piston just like that, and then a normal piston on this side to push everything back later. And then our input for this is actually going to be right here, and I'm going to place a lever on that just to remind us it is our input, but remember you're going to want to have a button going into a pulse extender going into that later. Now, this trick with the hoppers is actually really cool. What it is it's just allowing us to have almost no delay on turning on, but turning off it'll have a bunch of delay, which is exactly what we need, and I'll explain why later. So you're going to want to have a comparator output there, and then on this side, let me grab myself a slab. So on this side you're going to want to have a dust there, torch, another slab to not bud that diagonal piston there, and then a repeater, and then that just goes into dust on a furnace like that, and all this is needed to power our dispensers, which once again will be holding our armor, and that'll just enable us to put it on automatically. And then coming out of this torch, what we're going to want to have is our input for the rest of the system. So have a piston holding a redstone block, and that just goes into a repeater on 3 ticks of delay, and that just goes straight into our double extender, and then more double extender stuff. And I really love this double piston extender that I'm using. It's really simple and really nice. So have a torch there, and then a sticky piston holding a block there, and then a slab holding a repeater on top of that on max delay. Then on this side you're going to want to have another repeater on max delay there, and then this just goes into a dust into that block, which powers this normal piston and pushes this piston to the side. And I'll explain why we need to do that later, because everything in this creation relies off of one another, and it's crazy how complex it is in this small space. So what you're going to want to have is a dust there, and then a repeater on 2 there, going into more dust, going into a repeater on max delay here. And that just goes into a sticky piston holding a block and the sand on top of that. And then this is why we need a furnace here, because I'm going to be getting a comparator output like this. Let me grab myself a slab, and then as you see here, this comparator is now being powered, going into the sand and budding that piston there. Now everything should be done. Let me give it a little test run just to make sure. As you see there, the lamp retracted, and then the glass retracted, and then just got pushed over. So the lamp retracting is pretty self-explanatory. It's just this double piston extender that we have like that already. You can't. Here's a good angle. This double piston extender there. But then when that retracts, just like that, as you see there, this normal piston pushed the sticky piston to the side. Then more pistons extended to grab that glass. Then that retracted to this spot here, and then this redstone lamp just got pushed back to the center from this normal piston here. Now the specifics for the redstone are this is just a double extending circuit, like I said earlier. This just pushes it to the side, and then over here this repeater just allows us to power one of the pistons to grab that stained glass. And then because this comparator is still on because of all the items we put in here, it allows us to bud that, or not bud, but just diagonally power the that piston like that. And then when it turns off, this repeater over here will just give the bottom piston more delay to be able to retract that top piston. And then finally, when all that is done, this repeater pushes this up, and then this just allows us to power this normal piston to push everything back to the side like that, making it all nice and somewhat seamless besides the dispensers. And the cool thing about this is you can have a block there and a block there, and you will see no redstone at all, which is really sweet. So what we can do now is just load this up with our favorite armor. I have our chain armor here already, so let me just put that in here like that, and I'm just gonna skip to it all being filled up. Alright, so all the dispensers are filled up, so I'm just gonna do the external pulse extender sort of thing now. So actually I should have done that later, because now we have more armor as a mess there. So have our comparator there, and then another comparator can go just like that, and it's pretty much integrated into the system. And all we need to do is just have our input like that. So as you see, once again, I'm not wearing any armor, I just have some in my inventory. And then things will retract, and as you see, it is now working. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the links in the description for Engine's channel and the other armor equippers. I hope you guys take up the challenge to either make it smaller or get rid of the external pulse extender. And until next time, I guess, goodbye!